Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senator Wicker and I usually agree on many issues. This is not one of them. We do agree on King's Speech being a great movie. But I'm afraid that King George got too much advice from the tobacco industry on their findings on the use of tobacco rather than from science at the time. But I thank you. It seems to me also that if you look at the scientific information we have today and exclude some of the information from the fossil fuel industry, it's clear that carbon is a problem. May not be. It's official. Thank you. We're in agreement then. But carbon combined in our environment causing climate change is real, and it's causing a serious risk, not only to the people in our country, but globally, and we have a responsibility to act. I also like to point out that the Clean Air Act has been widely hailed as being very successful, and many of us remember all the red alert days have now been declining dramatically. In Los Angeles, in New York, and Baltimore, we've seen incredible improvements so that our older people, our younger people, people who have suffered from respiratory problems are much safer today, and the cost-benefit ratios are very clear. So we're building on that, and I thank you very much, Ms. McCabe. Power plants are the largest single source of carbon, 40% of all carbon. So EPA not only has the legal authority, you have the responsibility to act, to deal with that single largest source of carbon emissions. In your regulation that you issued in June, which is now subject to comment, of 30% reduction by 2030 of the 2005 limits, that was based upon your best judgment on science where we can achieve that. Is that correct?
That's correct, Senator.
So it didn't just come out of thin air. It was a scientifically based analysis of where we could achieve in regards to carbon reductions.
Correct.
The cost benefit we've talked about before, but by achieving those levels, first of all, it's not just by more efficient energy sources, it's by also conserving energy.
That's correct.
And I've heard about the cost to consumers, but as we become more efficient, consumers save, don't they?
Yeah, yes, they do, Senator. If you use less electricity, overall your bills can go down, and that's what we predicted.
So I just want to make that point. And the cost-benefit analysis that we go through on looking at EPA rules under the Clean Air Act or under the Clean Water Act, there's direct savings, as Senator Boxer has talked about, the number of premature deaths that will be saved, the number of work days which parents have to stay home because their child can't breathe, or the days lost at summer camp because children can't go to camp because of that's direct savings that we have as a result of implementing these laws. But we also get more efficient use of energy, which will also save us money.
Correct.
And then, of course, we haven't even talked about it to the extent that we do reverse some of the trends that we have today on climate change and have less of these extreme weather conditions. The cost of these extreme weather conditions, we can tell you the billions of dollars it's costing the United States, and you look at globally those who are becoming climate refugees who are being displaced, the cost there is incredible. So all that builds into the fact that in Maryland, we have taken steps to deal with our power emissions through our power plants. And we've done that, and we've had a growing economy. It's helped our economy. The Clean Air Act, since its enactment in the 1970s, we've seen tremendous economic growth in our country. So we believe that a healthy environment and a robust economy go side by side. As I understand it, that's the philosophy of the rule that you brought forward in the comments that you're receiving, because you have a dual objective, a clean environment and a robust economy. Now, I want to talk about local flexibility, because in Maryland, we're one of 9 states that are part of the regional initiative in the Northeast, in Mid-Atlantic, the RGGI proposal, and we've taken some pretty extreme measures in order to reduce carbon emissions. We're downwind, so we have to worry about what's going on around the country. So we want other regions to do their share, because it's not only important for our global responsibilities, it's important to the people of Maryland that we have clean air. And we can only do so much in our own state. Talk a little bit about the flexibility that we have in our state as part of a regional effort. How have you taken into consideration the numbers based upon states that have joined in regional compacts?
Well, Reggie, as we mentioned before, is a great example of states coming together to find very efficient ways to in a regional area, to make reductions in a way that is very helpful to the environmental goal and the economy. In our rule, of course, we give the states flexibility to do a plan on their own or to join regionally. And our costs our cost analysis shows that regional plans tend to be more cost-effective because there are more choices. And I think that's what you're getting at, Senator, is more choices for states to use different strategies, more choices for utilities, many of whom operate across state lines, to have flexibility to make the most cost-effective changes that are available to them and have a broader pool to choose from. So that's what Reggie has demonstrated is that is an effective way to achieve the lower greenhouse gas emission goal.
And Mr. Chairman, let me comment on China, because there's been a lot of conversation on China. Another responsibility I have in the Senate is I am the ranking Democrat on the East Asia and Pacific Subcommittee, and I've been to China. And China is leading the world right now on renewable energies. Their investment, over $50 billion they're invested, and they're number one. And they do it, this is not a country that has the same values that we do as far as our global responsibilities, looking at ourselves in a democratic state. They've done it because their people are demanding it. When you go to China, you see pollution. I was in Beijing for about 4 days and never saw the sun, and there was no clouds in the sky. They also do it because they don't have a lot of fossil fuel sources, so they really need to become less dependent. So they recognize that cleaner energy sources is in their economic interest to invest in cleaner energy sources and to do this. So I applaud the efforts of the administration to bring China into specific achievable goals as we all work towards our universal responsibilities to deal with climate change, because whereas Maryland cannot deal with the healthy air without the help of our surrounding states, we cannot deal with climate change unless we have global cooperation, and requires U.S. leadership. And I applaud the Obama administration for its leadership.